Hey, Neck Nation, thanks for joining us. I'm Kit James.
Austin Davis.
We're getting ready to send some fire on the wire today with a podcast, and this podcast is going to be titled Lay Down Your Fences.
Lay down your fences, break down your walls, overcome your barriers, whatever you want to call it, right,
Yep.
Kit? Exactly. I think this is a great topic, right? Because I think we all put up fences. We've got them, and they're for various different reasons, right? They're to protect, right? There's two reasons why you put up a fence, right? Either to keep something out or to keep something in,
Or
right?
both.
Or both, right? Or both. So I think this will be a good discussion today, and good for Neck Nation. I do want to call out, though, it's a little cold in the old NECKROOTS studio today. I don't know how you're toughening out, but I got the old thick jacket, the old NECKROOTS jacket on right here, dude. I think it's looking stylish and feeling good, man.
I've been out in the cold all day, man. Been wet, so.
There you go. You're already used to it. Thick-blooded.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, you want to tell Neck Nation about your hardware here real quick?
Well, I didn't even know they put casts on you anymore. But they do.
Yeah, no more. They're robotic arms. They'll be a thing here in a couple months. But until then, you got the fiberworks going on.
Yep. Well, they would have put me in one of the sports ones, one of the ones you can put on and take off. But doctor knows me better. If you can take it off 100%, I'm going to take it off.
You're going to take it off. That's
and
right.
she says, Kit, be honest with me. If I put you in one of these comfortable ones, are you going to take it off? I said,
every day.
well, to go to sleep, probably. And she goes, no. Are you going to take it off? I want you to be honest with me. I said, 100% I'm going to take it off.
Yeah.
And she goes, when? I said, when I need to run a shovel.
Or a hammer.
I've already
or pick up a board.
I've already broke it from running the shovel.
Oh, my gosh, man.
My wife got mad at me. I said, honey, I thought when they put you in a cast, that meant you could work.
Yeah. Right, it's
I
set.
guess.
It's not moving, so
Yeah.
you can use it to the best of its ability, right?
Oh, it's moving now.
There you go.
But
well,
anyway, yeah, no, I was in the rain working, and we take these big sledgehammers, the ones with the long handles on them.
oh sure, yeah,
We cut them off so they got a short handle,
yeah.
so you can bang things in the ground easier. And I was banging a stake in the ground and slipped off the stake and just smashed my wrist. Bro.
Cracked the wrist, man.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
I worked for a week, and then it didn't get better.
Dude, you're a tough SOB, man.
So I had to go
Working with the broken wrist.
Yeah, I had to go get it checked, and she goes, well, tell me. The doctors are sneaky, bro.
Yeah.
She goes, tell me where it hurts, and she's holding my x-ray the whole time. Right? And
She
I'm
knows.
Yeah, she already knows, and I'm thinking, oh, cool, it's not broke.
Yeah.
Right? She's wondering why I'm being a pansy, why I'm here.
Yeah.
Right? So she's asking me questions. I'm like, well, she goes, how about here? I go, nope. How about here? Nope. And she goes, how about here? I go, ow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it hurts there.
Yeah.
And so she was playing the game, and then she goes, well, let me show you your x-ray. And let me show you why it hurts there. So it's fractured there and broke there. I'm like, okay, that's bad. And she goes, yeah, that's
Yeah,
bad.
it's bad.
So anyway,
Got to get it fixed up. Well, hey, thanks for letting down your fence and telling us your story, bro.
Yeah, I usually just say, what's up?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, let's get back to this then. Why do we put up our walls, Neck Nation? Why do we put up our fences and our barriers, right? We said either to keep people out or to keep something in or both, right?
I'll be honest with you. I think it goes back. I'm the worst at it, bro. Actually, I'm the best at it. I'll throw up a wall quick.
Yeah.
When my wife and I were having kids, it took us 8 years to have kids, right?
Yeah.
And we were going through all this, the emotional roller coaster of trying to conceive and have kids. And my wife would let her emotions out. Me, I'd be like, it'd be all right. If we got pregnant and then lost one or whatever, my walls went up until I could hold them in my hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is bad because then I never got excited about a pregnancy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Until I could actually hold them in my hands. So I would build walls, and then if, something would go haywire, I'd build walls. I think a lot of it goes back to it's a protection mechanism. It's something that, I always say, oh, I'm better off alone. I can do this alone. I can do everything alone or whatever. And it's just kind of the way you're raised, it's your briar patch. It's your protective outer skin or whatever.
Sure.
And the truth is that I've learned, and that is I'm better when, whatever. If I say I'm better off alone, that means I need somebody.
Yeah.
Right? It's the
Agreed.
opposite.
Yeah.
You said I'm fine. That means inside
you're not fine.
you're not fine.
And we all do that, like especially as men, right?
Yeah.
We all put up the I'm fine wall
Yep.
when we know what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Inside there's a struggle going on.
Yeah. When
And
the wife's mad and she says this and this or else, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Or when she says she's fine, you already know she's not fine, dude.
Well, yeah, but they give it away.
Yeah.
The way they say they're fine is, I'm fine.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's a giveaway.
Yeah, it is a giveaway. But I like what you said about protection, right? I'm thinking about my own walls, and I'll just be a little bit vulnerable with you, Neck Nation. But, I went through a divorce several years ago, right? And as a result of that, as a result of the experience, there were certain walls that I put up. And when I met my wife now, like it took some time,
Yeah.
right? To let my guard down on a few things and to get used to doing things, in a way that I could share things with her, right? That wall was up, and it really prevented me from being able to, experience the relationship to the fullest.
Yeah.
And I think what's important is, these walls, they're not built out of cotton balls, Kit.
Right.
They're brick, they're concrete,
Yep.
right? They're solid walls. They're reinforced rebar walls, right?
Yep.
Or they're fences, and they're cinder block fences. And they don't get torn down in a day.
No.
Right? These are something that we got to work at to get these things tore down. And that's kind of been my experience. And back to this whole idea of we put these things up to protect ourselves, it's for a myriad of reasons, right? It's not just with regard to relationships or it is based upon our experience. And if you've had a negative experience, you're probably going to throw a fence or a wall up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I look back on my past and I'm like, man, not only was I throwing up walls, but because of my walls that I was throwing up, she would counteract and throw up walls. Now
sure.
Now we got a maze going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Everywhere. And is it hard to just be vulnerable? I mean, you don't want to just, yeah, it is. There's certain situations where we should be vulnerable. There's certain relationships where maybe we should hold back a little bit. You know, I'm a firm believer of in business anyway, don't tell anybody what you're doing. Just go do it.
Yeah.
And let them find out.
Sure.
Because, it's easier that way.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain where you're at in the process every time you bump into somebody.
Right.
But in a personal relationship with a loved one, it's different, right? I think that's where we need to be more vulnerable and open and honest and show our colors. We still got to be rough and tough. I mean, the boys do, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to be well-rounded and show both sides of it. But it caused a lot of issues, and you think, it used to be that, hey, a wall's built brick by brick, a little bit at a time. Bro, I got so good at it, I'd throw a wall up so fast over spilt milk, man.
Oh, sure.
It would be a towering, and nobody's getting over that wall, bro. There's barbed wire on top. I was like, instant wall.
Yeah, no kidding. I
You know what I
believe
mean?
it. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why I do that, but bringing it down was brick by brick. But I'd build the damn thing like quick,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I'd
And it
put
could
up
be
a
over
wall.
anything.
Yeah, anything. And I look back now, and as I've gone through, the emotional process of these walls or that you put up that you say you're fine or whatever, it goes back further than the relationship. It goes back to, childhood. It does, and they carry forward. And so I think it's good to process and talk about them and figure out why we're not laying down our fences and we're building more fences, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to what you said, you can build these things pretty quick. And yes, I think that's in some cases that's what happens, right? If you get to become a professional wall builder, fence builder, or barricade layer, you could end up doing it pretty quick, right?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, but for some of us, I think, sometimes these walls take time. It takes several experiences to build these things up. But I loved what you said, and I'll kind of phrase it in a different way, but it is that, our walls in the long run create more issues than they solve.
They do.
Right? You think about walls with family, like, you've got a bad relationship or something went wrong or whatever it is, disagreement, right? We've all had them. We've all got dysfunctional families, Neck Nation. Nobody's the most functional or perfect functional family, right? In fact, what we say here is the best family is the one that's got your back, right? Or what is it that you say?
I say a perfect family. There's no such thing, right? But a perfect family, the closest thing to a perfect family is a united family.
United family. That's the one. That's the one. So, but maybe you got walls with family. Yeah. And in the short run, maybe you're protecting yourself or maybe whatever. But in the long run, like it takes a toll. And I think back to some of these walls that I've put up over years, and especially with related to that divorce. And in the long run, it made things more difficult for me. Yeah. It really does, right? It hindered the relationship, like I mentioned, but it also hindered my personal growth, right? If I'm afraid, if I'm putting up a wall because I'm afraid of something, right? That's not being a buffalo. If you guys remember a long time ago in one of our episodes way back, we talked about being a buffalo and charging head on at our problems and our fears instead of turn and tail and run like the cow would. Yeah. And, putting up these walls to protect you from your fears is not facing your fears, and that is really going to hinder your personal growth and progress.
It does. And what's interesting is I think out of fear you build these walls, and as you start to tear them down, it feels good, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
And I remember early on in my early 20s, I'd be taking a wall down that I built real fast, right?
Yeah, right.
I'd be taking down a wall with, between me and my wife or whatever, one brick at a time, and then blowing it off. And am I going to take the rest of this wall down? We'll see, And some days you think you're taking another brick down, and then some days you're putting it back. And it's like, you know what? You got to be able to take them down as quick as you put them up.
Yeah.
And the truth is, now that I've learned, and I don't know why it's taken so long, but and I'm not perfect at it. Come on, man. We're all human. We're going to build walls regardless, right?
Our whole lives. Yeah.
If you move into a new place and the neighbor comes over and is like, first thing they say is, "What do you do for a living?" Like, I look at them and go, "Fine, thanks. How are you?"
Fine, yeah. Hi, I'm Kit.
You know what I mean? It's like, and you know what I've been telling them? Before I do it makes my wife mad, but I say I'm a shoe salesman. What size foot you got? Bro, they're done. They leave.
It's over.
Yeah, program's over.
Yeah.
But anyways, you put up walls because it's like, why would you ask that? You don't introduce yourself. You don't say, "Hi, my name's so and so. I'm your neighbor." No, none of that. Right?
Yeah.
They've been in the city too long, man.
Yeah.
And so first thing, well, "Hi, I live down the street. I'm your neighbor. So what do you do for a living?" It's like, dude, my walls go right up. Right? I start telling them I'm an over-the-road truck driver or whatever, and they're never going to see me, or I'll tell them whatever. I've told multiple neighbors different things.
Yeah.
Right? So, the thing is if I've learned that as you take those walls down, especially with those closest to you, it feels good. It's like unloading something. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And what you also realize is when you lay down those fences, you're letting something else in.
Yeah.
And that you let in is nothing but love, man. It's legit. It's real. And you're like, frick, dude, why I keep this fence up for so long and polish this fence?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It feels so good.
It does feel good. And going back to it takes a toll, right? In our relationships with our loved ones. But we say fences make good neighbors, right? But that's because you want to put limitations on that relationship that you have with that individual. So let's apply that to other relationships.
Well, it's because they don't want me selling them shoes.
They don't want you selling them shoes. They don't want you parking your 18-wheeler in front of their house. Right?
Something.
They don't want you cranking it up at 5 a.m, waking everybody up, and Jake breaking down the drive, right?
Well, they're going to get that regardless.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But you're placing limitations on relationships. You're placing limitations on, let's go outside the scope of relationships. Let's go placing limitations on your abilities.
Yeah.
Right? You put limits on yourself, on your ability to accomplish something or get something done or achieve a goal.
Yeah.
Right? That's what these fences, barriers, walls, that's what they are.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's going to hold you back from your progress for sure. And I keep going back. I don't know why this keeps coming to mind, but my favorite show of all time. This might indicate how old I am, which isn't very old, but was Home Improvement with Tim Allen, dude. I love that show.
Yeah.
Such a great show. And my wife, she actually bought me the box set for our anniversary one year, all the DVDs.
Yeah.
Dude, I cruised right through those, man. They're so great. But he's got that neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Wilson. and Wilson is always on the other side of the fence. Now, Wilson has great information to offer Tim, but it makes you wonder, like, Tim never hung out with Wilson. Wilson was the guy across the fence, and always will be the guy across the fence, and you never saw his face, right? Yep. And there's that limitation, right? What more could have Wilson have offered Tim if they gotten together, watched football? I don't know, just done something other than just been across the fence. So let's get rid of those limitations, right? Don't put limitations on yourself by creating a wall or a barrier.
Yeah. Well, there was one time when I moved in. We were younger, and I was building some houses and doing some stuff, and we built our house, moved in, and the neighbor, he's just a different duck, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't playing with a full deck, and so I just kind of stayed away and already built my fence.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's out.
Yeah.
Right? And so for various reasons, I had built fences, not even realizing it, and so I never would get close. And he tried and tried and tried, right? He's always coming over, hey, can I borrow your tractor, your backhoe, your this, your that? And I'm just like, no, right? I didn't.
Go.
And so when he needed help, during, windstorm or whatever, I'd go help him. But I'd never chit-chat with him or get close to him or hear him out or anything.
Yeah.
And the truth is, to fast forward a few years after that, there's times when that guy needed someone, and come to find out, he was a key component in one of the things that I was looking for, right?
Wow.
And so it's interesting that we do that, but we do it automatically, right?
Yeah.
Had I, maybe warmed up a little bit to him and not placed labels on him or whatever, or built those fences or walls, it would have advanced things for him and for me a little bit quicker.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And so you look back and you just go, I was a dummy. And then even when you evaluate where you're at now, we're still dummies.
Yeah, we are. We are. And that reminds me of something, Kit. We talk about finding our purpose, right? And regardless of who you are, one of the things that is your purpose is to be a value add to those around you.
Yeah.
Right? And when you put up those fences like you're talking about, and you push off those relationships or avoid those relationships, what kind of value add are you giving to that person? And to be honest, I mean, people have been put in my life, right? I know by divine intervention, people have been put in my life to help me through situations.
Sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So what's to say you're not put into somebody else's life to help them through a situation? And if you've got these walls up, I mean, what kind of help are you?
Yeah.
Right? And I think we've got to sit back and evaluate too. I mean, you think about the Great Wall of China, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the biggest wall, longest wall we built in the entire world, right?
Yep.
In 7th century BC, whenever it was. And the purpose of that wall was to keep people out, right?
Yeah.
They were defending, they were protecting. So I think we have to sit down and reflect, what are we defending?
Yeah.
What are you really defending when you put this wall up? Like what is going on, right?
Yeah.
What are you trying to protect?
And the real question is, what are we afraid of?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're trying to protect.
That's what we're trying to protect. Well, I wrote down a few notes here on ways to kind of overcome these walls, right? And overcome these barriers and these fences. And the first one would be to identify. I think, at least for me, maybe these walls have been up so long that I'm just walking around the house, or these fences have been up so long that I'm just walking around, right? And I don't even think twice about them.
Yeah, you just look at them and go, dang, that needs a coat of paint.
Yeah, we got to fix that one up. There's a hole in that drywall right there.
Yeah.
But they've been up so long that you don't really recognize that they're there. You don't, and when you don't recognize that they're there, you don't know what they're keeping you from doing or keeping you from experiencing. So I think the first step in this kit is identifying, finding out what they are. Maybe you've got procrastination, or maybe you've got willpower issues, or maybe you've got, like we talked about, relationship issues, or maybe you're placing limitations on your abilities because of an experience you had. Right? These identify your walls. First step.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next step would be to open up, right? So that's probably, at least for me, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because sometimes to tear down a wall, it requires us to be vulnerable. And dude, I know about you, Kit. We hate to be vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
We don't like to show our weakness. We don't like to show emotion, whatever it is. And I'm not saying, I know we've talked about this before. I'm not saying go find a shoulder to cry on by any means. I mean, if you need to, that's fine too. But open up to somebody. Let them know what's going on, right? Close friend, family member, whoever it is, somebody that you trust. And just say, hey, I'm dealing with this. I got this, thing that I'm going through here, this wall that I put up, and it's keeping me from doing these things, and I just don't know how to get through it. But tell somebody about it, because maybe they've had an experience getting over these things, right?
Well, and I think on that point, we all go through experiences and we all overcome things.
Yeah.
Those things are badges of honor that we should really use to help other people. I mean, we've said it before, but they're the key that unlocks someone else's prison. And if we can be there, right, to give somebody, just to shed a little bit of light and give them a little bit of hope, be that key that unlocks the emotional or mental prison that they're in at that time.
Yeah.
Man, that's expected of us. I think the more we go through and the more we trudge through and the more we overcome, the more is expected of us to help some of those people. When you get to the top, or you get up, 6th, 7th floor of the elevator, man, push a button, send it back down, grab one of your loved ones, grab one of your neighbors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. And Kit, what is a prison?
You're locked up. It's a fence. It's a wall.
4 walls. 4 walls with a roof, right?
Yeah.
And if you can escape your own prison, right, you've broken down those walls. And like you said, you could be the key to help somebody else get out of their prison. So I love that. Yeah, let's break down our prison walls, right, because they're holding us back. So open up, talk to somebody. The next thing here, come up with a plan, right? Not there, in construction, when you go to tear down a wall in a house, the plan is, I'm going to grab a sledgehammer and I'm going to start swinging. But there's more to it than that, right?
Yeah, because you have to remember not to break your wrist.
Yeah, don't break your wrist. But you got to find out what kind of, if it's a load-bearing wall, right? Maybe you got to take it down more carefully or whatever it is, or reinforce something, right? It's the same thing with taking down our walls. We got to have a plan, right? You can't just say, oh, one day I'm going to wake up and this isn't going to be a problem for me anymore, because it's not going to go away.
No.
It's not going to go away. You eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
You tear down your wall one brick at a time, right? You plan it out, right? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow, right? What are you going to do a week from now? Set small, measurable goals to try and break these walls down, which is sometimes it's just letting people in a little bit at a time. If you got a neighbor that you don't want to talk to, start by saying hi.
Yep.
Then next, hey, how's it going? And then next, you need help with anything? I don't know. Can I borrow a rake? I don't, just a little bit at a time and break those down, right? And then the last one is to execute. I talk about this all the time, but action, execution, that is where it's at, because we can sit and we can talk all day long, Kit, and we can talk about ideas, and we could talk about breaking down fences and breaking down walls, but none of it's ever going to happen until we put it into action and we execute, right?
Yeah, knowing what to do is really it's that's potential. That's our potential.
I love that. That's potential.
And the action is the power. So I think a lot of us have the potential and the thought to know what to do, but putting it into action is the real power. That's where it all comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Well, I don't know how much more we got on our message today. I think that's a pretty good message to send out to Neck Nation right there.
Yeah,
right?
It's a good message for me, because I'm a professional wall builder, man.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to remember to lay down our fences and let people in, and be there to help someone else that needs some help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's do that, Neck Nation. Let's break down those walls, those fences, those barriers. Build those relationships, and also, don't let them be limitations on yourself.
Right.
Let's break down our prison walls and help people get out of their prisons. So, we'll leave you with that message. Be sure to like and share this video. Click on the notifications. We gotta, we don't have a ton of followers at this point, but we got a few followers, and not everybody's listening. So we need you to click that notification bell so you know when these new videos pop up. They're every Tuesday morning, right? It's when this podcast goes live on the wire, as Kit says. But check us out on Facebook, on Instagram. Got a few things on TikTok. But we'll leave. Oh, the hats and the shirts. You got to go to neckroots.com and click around there. Check out some of the information that we got on there and get yourself a hat and a shirt. I think we got a new way to buy stuff on there, right? A new way to shop on there.
Yeah.
It's coming up soon if it's not already on there. So it should be easier to get through the old shopping experience. But we'll leave you with that, Neck Nation, and bless up.
Bless up.